Welcome back to Las Vegas Live. This show is designed to help you plan your week in Las Vegas, whether you live here, you're flying in, or you're just trying to make the most of your time in town. Every week, I break down what's actually worth your time, the biggest events, the standout shows, and the experiences people will still be talking about long after the weekend is over. I'm Adam Torres, and let's get into it. This episode is sponsored by Vegas Near Me. If you're planning anything in Las Vegas, shows, tickets, hotels, dining, Vegas Near Me puts it all in one place. You can use your app or just go straight to the website. It's especially useful when you're comparing tickets, looking for something nearby, or trying to stack your night so everything is close and easy. We know the traffic on the strip isn't getting any easier, so Vegas Near Me makes it easy. In a lot of cases, you can find better options as well just by seeing everything side by side. You can check it out at vegasnearme.com or grab the free app. All right, let's start off with our conference spotlight. Before we get into this week's top 10, I want to take a quick moment for our conference spotlight because there are a few major conferences in town this week that are bringing a lot of energy to Vegas. First up, Las Vegas Market, one of the largest wholesale trade shows in the country. This event draws buyers and brands from across the home furnishings, decor, and gift industries. Thousands of retailers, designers, and manufacturers are in town for this one, which means a noticeable boost in midweek activity, in dining, and after hours events across the strip and downtown. We also have meetings tied to the National Multifamily Housing Council, which regularly brings property owners, developers, investors, and housing professionals to Las Vegas. When these groups are in town, you tend to see strong attendance at business dinners, networking events, and corporate hospitality spaces throughout the city. And rounding things out is the International Surface Event, a major industry gathering focused on flooring, tile, stone, and surface metals. This show brings in contractors, designers, and manufacturers from all around the world. And it's another example of how Las Vegas continues to be a hub for large-scale industry events. I always like to call these out because conferences shape the rhythm of the city each week. They affect hotel demand, restaurant reservations, and even which shows and events are buzzing after hours. All right, with that context in mind, let's get into what else is happening around town. Here are this week's top 10 things to do in Las Vegas, starting at number 10. Number 10, Love Cloud, private airplane flight experience. What is it? Love Cloud is a private luxury airplane experience out of North Las Vegas, built for couples who want something, let's say, a little bit unforgettable in the air. From a romantic flight over the strip to their famous Mile High Club flights. Yes, you heard correct, Mile High Club flights. Plus options like romantic dinner flights and even same-day wedding and vow renewals in the sky. What makes Love Cloud different is that it's designed as a full experience, not just a quick ride. They offer specific flight types depending on your vibe. If you want pure romance without anything spicy, they have a dedicated romantic dinner flight option that is clearly labeled as non-sexual. And if you want the bucket list version, their Mile High Club flights are the headline. Also, if you're doing something like an elopement or vow renewal, their Sky Wedding Chapel flights are literally built for fast weddings, same-day options, and a Vegas story you will never forget. In terms of booking, multiple flight times are available daily. You want to check availability and book your exact time in advance. And again, you can do all of that on vegasnearme.com. All right, moving on to number 9, Omega Mart at Area 15, Meow Wolf. Omega Mart is an immersive, interactive art experience created by Meow Wolf, an arts collective known for building massive walk-through worlds that blend storytelling, technology, and physical space. On the surface, Omega Mart looks like a normal grocery store, but once you step inside, it quickly turns into something much bigger. Hidden passageways, secret rooms, and an unfolding narrative that pulls you deeper the more you explore. This is not a museum and it's not a traditional attraction. It's designed to be discovered at your own pace. Some people walk through it in 45 minutes, others spend several hours unlocking hidden storylines and interactive elements. What most people don't realize is that Omega Mart has an actual storyline. If you just wander, it's fun, but if you start opening drawers, scanning items, and following clues, it turns into a full puzzle experience. Also, Meow Wolf is known nationally for installations in Santa Fe, Denver, and Dallas, and Omega Mart is their largest and most complex project to date. If you're going with a friend, split up for part of it. You'll find different things and compare notes afterwards. Timed entry tickets are available throughout the week. Daytime and early evening slots are usually easiest to book. Weekends sell out faster, so definitely be sure to plan ahead. Number 8, Jams Nationals. Jams Nationals is one of the longest running and most respected national cheerleading competitions in the country. This isn't a casual showcase, it's a championship event that draws elite youth and high school cheer teams from across the U.S., many of whom train year-round for a stage like this. For context, competitive cheerleading today looks a lot closer to gymnastics mixed with dance and acrobatics than what most people picture from sideline cheer. These routines involve synchronized tumbling passes, complex stunts, and tightly timed choreography, all judged at a national level. Jams has been a pipeline event for decades. Many competitive cheerleaders who later move into collegiate athletics, professional dance, and even performance careers pass through events like this early on. What you're watching is not recreational, it's high-level competition with real stakes. Teams qualify, advance, and earn national recognition here. Because it's hosted in Las Vegas, the production value is also higher than most regional competition. Big arenas, full lighting, professional sound, and non-stop momentum throughout the day. Even if you don't follow cheer, this is one of the most energy-packed daytime events you can drop into. The crowd reaction is genuine, the athleticism is obvious within minutes, and you'll see routines you didn't realize were physically possible. It's also a great unexpected Vegas experience, something very different from shows in casino. When it's Monday, January 26th, starting at 8 a.m., most teams rotate throughout the day so you can pop in for a window and still catch top-tier performances. Number 7, Vegas Golden Knights versus Dallas Stars. The Vegas Golden Knights host the Dallas Stars at T-Mobile Arena in a matchup that consistently carries playoff-level intensity. This isn't a random regular season game. Vegas and Dallas have become one of the more competitive Western Conference matchups, and recent seasons have turned these games into measuring stick nights for both teams. Dallas is a perennial playoff contender with a fast, disciplined style of play, while Vegas has built a reputation around physical pressure, depth scoring, and home ice dominance. When these two meet, games tend to be tight, physical, and emotionally charged, not slow, not passive. This late January timing also matters. Teams are past the early season feel-out phase and firmly into playoff positioning mode, which means shorter benches, sharper rotations, and much higher urgency than you'd see in October or November. Golden Knight home games aren't just loud for show. The crowd energy tends to spike in games and feel like potential playoff previews. You'll often see a tighter defense, faster transitions, and coaches managing the game more aggressively because these points actually matter in the standings. Even for casual fans, this is the kind of matchup where you feel that something's on the line within the first few minutes. When can you go? The game is Thursday, January 29th at 7 p.m. Go to, again, vegasnearme.com to grab some tickets. Number 6. Oh, I love seeing this one on the list. This brought back memories. Number 6, New Edition, live at T-Mobile Arena. Legendary, and I repeat, legendary R&B group New Edition bring a one-night-only performance to T-Mobile Arena, marking a rare chance to see one of the most influential groups in modern R&B, and it's in Las Vegas. New Edition isn't just a group. They're the blueprint for modern-day boy bands and R&B groups that followed. Formed in the late 1970s, they helped shape the sound of R&B for decades and launched multiple superstar careers. Members went on to define entire eras of music, including Bobby Brown and Belle Biv DeVoe, whose solo and group success expanded far beyond the original lineup. If you remember these old-school songs, Candy Girl, Cool It Now, Mr. Telephone Man, or later era classics tied to their members, you already know their influence, even if you didn't connect the dots. This isn't just a nostalgia act phoning it in. New Edition shows tend to feel like a living history lesson of R&B with polished vocals, tight choreography, and a crowd that knows every single word. It's the kind of concert where generations overlap, longtime fans, young listeners who grew up on the solo era hits, and people who just want a true sing-along night. Because this is a single-date arena show, it has more of a moment feel than a residency. The energy leans celebratory, and the audience tends to be fully locked in from start to finish. If you enjoy concerts where the crowd becomes part of the show, This one delivers. When can you go? It's going to be Friday, January 30th at 8 p.m. Will not want to miss that one. On to number 5, Zayn Malik live at Dolby Live. Global pop and R&B star Zayn Malik performs multiple nights at Dolby Live at Park MGM, bringing an arena-level artist into one of the Strip's most technically refined theaters. Zayn Malik rose to international fame as a member of One Direction, one of the most successful pop groups of all time, before launching a solo career that took a sharper, more atmospheric R&B direction. Since then, he's released multiple chart-topping albums, headlined solo sold-out shows around the world, and built a massive global following across streaming platforms and social media. This is an artist who typically plays major arenas and international tour stops, which makes seeing him in a venue like Dolby Live a very different experience. Dolby Live was designed for premium sound and sight lines, and it works especially well for Zayn's style, moody production, layered vocals, and tightly controlled visuals. Compared to a stadium or arena tour, this feels more focused and immersive, with fewer bad seats and cleaner acoustics. If you've already seen clips of Zayn performing on massive stages, this is one of the rare chances to catch him in a room that still feels intimate by Vegas standards. It's a strong pick for listeners who want a top-tier headliner without the chaos of a stadium crowd. When can you go see him? Wednesday, January 28th at 9 p.m., Friday, January 30th at 9 p.m., and Saturday, January 31st at 9 p.m. Just check out vegasnearme.com and you can obviously grab some tickets. On to number 4, another one of the favorites. Come on now, an intimate evening with Santana, Greatest Hits Live. Legendary guitarist and rock and roll Hall of Famer Carlos Santana brings his greatest hits set to the House of Blues at Mandalay Bay for a multi-night run in one of the Strip's most musically respected venues. Santana is one of the most influential guitarists in modern musical history, with a career spanning more than 5 decades. He rose to global prominence after his breakout performance in Woodstock in 1969 and went on to shape an unmistakable sound that blends rock, Latin rhythms, blues, and jazz. Over the years, Santana has sold tens of millions of records worldwide, earned multiple Grammy Awards, and released landmark albums including Supernatural, which alone won 9 Grammys, and introduced his music to an entirely new generation. This is not just a concert, it's a living piece of music history. House of Blues is one of the few Strip venues that truly works for a musician like Santana. It's large enough to deliver full band power, but it's intimate enough that the guitar work, tone, and improvisation don't get lost in the room. Unlike massive arena shows, this setting allows audiences to hear the nuance in Santana's playing, the sustain, phrasing, and rhythm work that made him iconic in the first place. Santana rarely needs to rely on spectacle. His shows are driven by musicianship, chemistry with his band, and decades of songs that audiences recognize instantly. This makes it an ideal pick for listeners who want a classic Vegas night centered around music, not production tricks. It also plays especially well for multi-generational groups, longtime fans, and first-time listeners alike who tend to walk out surprised by how current and alive the performance still feels. When can you catch it? Wednesday, January 28th at 7 p.m., Thursday, January 29th at 7 p.m., Saturday, January 31st at 7 p.m., and Sunday, February 1st at 7 p.m. Moving on to number 3, Blake Shelton live in Las Vegas. Country music superstar Blake Shelton brings his Las Vegas run to the Coliseum at Caesar's Palace, one of the most iconic concert rooms in the city. Blake Shelton isn't just a chart-topping country artist. He's one of the most recognizable figures in modern country music, with multiple #1 hits, major touring success, and long-running mainstream visibility through television. He sits at the intersection of music, entertainment, and pop culture. He's been a staple on country radio for years, and his catalog includes songs that audiences don't just recognize, they sing along to. Even listeners who wouldn't call themselves hardcore country fans usually know more Blake Shelton songs than they expect. The Coliseum at Caesar's Palace is built for performers with big voices and big personalities. It's large enough to feel like a major event, but still intimate compared to an arena, which keeps the crowd connection to the performance. This room has hosted some of the biggest names in music history, and Shelton's style fits the space perfectly. conversational moments, humor between songs, and a crowd that's there to have fun, not just to watch. This is one of those shows that works for mixed groups. You don't have to be a dedicated country fan to enjoy it, and it's a reliable choice when you've got different music tastes trying to agree on one night out. It also pairs well with Caesar's Palace itself. Dinner, show, and post-show drinks are all within a few minutes walk, which makes it an easy, low-stress Vegas night. When? Tuesday, January 21st at 8 p.m., Thursday, January 23rd at 8 p.m., and Friday, January 24th at 8 p.m. You can, again, pick up tickets at vegasnearme.com. All right, moving on to number 2. We're getting close to number 1. Number 2, The Wizard of Oz at Sphere. A large-scale immersive presentation of The Wizard of Oz inside Sphere, transforming one of the most recognizable films ever made into a venue-wide experience. The Wizard of Oz isn't just a classic. It's one of the most culturally influential films of all times. Released in 1939, it introduced Technicolor to mainstream audiences, redefined fantasy storytelling, and has been continuously reinterpreted for more than 8 decades. What Sphere is doing here isn't simply screening the film. The experience is built to rescale the story, environments, landscapes, and visual moments, and are expanded beyond the frame so the audience isn't just watching Oz, they're inside it. Oz is uniquely suited for this kind of treatment because it's built around transitions. Kansas to Oz, black and white to color, reality to imagination. Sphere's technology allows these shifts to feel physical rather than symbolic. This is one of the few times where Sphere's scale actually serves the storytelling instead of overwhelming it. The production leans into wonder and familiarity rather than sensory overload. This is a great option if you're with people who don't necessarily want a concert or a late night show, a daytime anchor maybe before dinner, a family-friendly option without feeling like kiddie, a nostalgic-driven experience that still feels new. And because it runs in multiple times per day, it's one of the easiest Sphere experiences to fit into a packed schedule. Monday through Thursday, you're going to have a 5 p.m. and 8 p.m. show. Friday, there's an 11 and 5 p.m. Saturday, there's going to be an 11 a.m. and 1:45 p.m. And Sunday, you have an 11, a 2, a 5, and an 8 p.m. Definitely go to vegasnearme.com and grab those tickets. All right, moving to number 1, topping out the chart today at our number 1 spot, Eagles at the Sphere. The Eagles bring their legendary catalog to the Sphere, one of the most technologically advanced live entertainment venues ever built for multiple nights this week. The Eagles are one of the highest-selling music acts of all time with over 150 million records sold worldwide and a catalog that spans decades, genres, and generations. Songs like Hotel California, Take It Easy, and Desperado aren't just hits, they're part of American music history. This run isn't about nostalgia alone, it's about scale. Sphere was designed specifically for artists whose music can support a fully immersive environment, and the Eagles' layered sound, harmonies, and long-form compositions translate especially well inside a venue built around precision audio and cinematic visuals. Sphere isn't just a concert hall, it's a purpose-built environment. The venue stands over 360 feet tall and combines a wrapped-around interior LED display with a resolution far beyond traditional arenas. For longtime fans, the songs feel newly dimensional. For first-time listeners, the venue itself becomes part of the performance. This is one of those shows where even people who aren't big concert people end up impressed. The pacing, seating, comfort, and sound quality make it feel less exhausting than a typical arena show and more like a curated Vegas experience. It also works exceptionally well as a highlight night for a group trip, a premium date night splurge, the one major ticket you build the rest of your week around. When can you check it out? Friday, January 30th at 8:30 p.m., Saturday, January 31st at 8:30 p.m. That wraps up this week's top 10 things to do in Las Vegas from January 26th through February 1st. If you're planning any of these shows, concerts, sports, or experiences, remember you can check everything in one place with Vegas Near Me. It makes it easy to compare tickets, find nearby spots, and see what else is happening around you, whether you're on the Strip, downtown, or off Strip. You can go straight to vegasnearme.com or download the free app. It's especially useful when you're trying to make last-minute plans or decide what makes sense to stack together in one night. I'll be back next week with a fresh list, a new look at what's happening in the city, and more context around the people and events shaping Las Vegas right now. So if you live here, if you're visiting, or if you're planning a trip soon, make Las Vegas Live part of how you plan your week. I'm Adam Torres. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you next week.